Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Teabag Party. Grab your cup of coffee, your hot chocolate, your tea, your beverage of choice, and get cozy. Because I am going to talk about Valve, actually, the company, not the invention that keeps water under pressure, or releases the pressure when desired. Pretty cool invention. I gotta hand it to him, whoever invented it. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about. How do I get out? I want to go to the. It's that way. Yeah, but no, Valve. I'm very curious about Valve because, for those who don't know, they are a privatized company. They don't have stockholders. They own the company. They are themselves, which means there's no one breathing down their neck trying to make infinite profits all the time, which also allows them to not make greedy choices that are ultimately bad for the consumers, i.e. you, me, any gamer out there who wants to play video games on PC pretty much. Steam is the place to go. And they're making a cajillion dollars a day, I'm sure. And I'm happy for them. But a lot of people don't know Valve the way that older gamers, even older than me, or people who were gamers my age who they got into PC gaming a lot younger than I did. So Steam used to make games. Or Valve used to make games. You probably have heard of them, I'm sure. Half-Life, Portal, Left 4 Dead. I think there's a few others. But these games are massive, and they're really good. It's one of the reasons why they were able to sell their platform to gamers. Oh, please blow up. Oh, fuck. Because at the time, like, people didn't want to own a game through a service. Because that's what Steam is. It's an online shop. But because Steam was like, hey, we are so awesome. I can't fucking see. Yeah, I got him. Alright. But so because people didn't want to like, not actually own the game, because you know on Steam, if you buy a game, it's technically just a license for the game, and you have to get it through Steam. Now, if you were to download all of your games onto a hard... Talk to the guy. What the fuck? On this side? No, why are you backwards? Because right now, if you buy a game on Steam, or any shop, Uplay, or whatever it's called now, the EA's, again, I don't know what it's called either, it's stupid, all these different launchers on your computer, if you buy a game through that, technically you don't own the game, you own the rights to download and play the game. On Steam, it's the same thing, however, you are at least able to download the game, keep an offline version of Steam on it, and then you could theoretically play those games forever, I think. I don't think it'd ever be able to come for you. I don't think games require you to check in online the way Xbox tried to with the Xbox One. That was brutal. But so, it's kind of sad because they don't make games that they used to. They still make some games, like they've released a few in the last 5 or 10 years. I mean, Half-Life Alyx was amazing for VR. And I know they have another hero shooter thing going on right now, which is pretty cool. And yeah, whatever, it's cool. But they don't really make games the way they used to. And now instead, Steam is like their #1 way of making money, and it's most of what they do their work on is making sure Steam is running functionally and adding games and censoring whatever they need to censor and blah blah blah. But a lot of what's been happening ever since AI started is Steam has been making sure that developers are actually holding up their end of the bargain. So for example, if they release a roadmap for a video game and they don't uphold it, or they promise DLC or they promise fixes, then if they don't do those things, then Steam will actually take action and force them to do it somehow, or they to charge them or whatever. Maybe they, I forget exactly. Oh no, they also allow, if that does happen, they allow players to refund their game. Even if it's like 100 hours later of gameplay, they'll still allow them if the game isn't holding up and doing what they promised, just to kind of hold these developers accountable. And Steam also has a much better system for doing refunds in general. Their store is better. They have all these different features to basically to get out of your way of gaming. They don't want their launcher to be, you know, a nightmare to work with, because you just want to play video games. You know, you just want it to work. And I think anyone who's ever used Steam can agree it's pretty darn fantastic. It has all the features you could ask for. If There is one you can ask for if everyone else agrees. It's probably going to get added in the next year or two. It's not rare for them to add new things that make things even better. Heck, even with their Steam Deck, they've added this whole system for how well the game runs on it. If it's right out of the box, if it's going to have, you know, some hiccups along the way, whatever. It's great. The reason why I bring this up, though, is because, not just because I'm sad that Valve doesn't make games the way they used to, but also because Valve is holding the line on what the quality is for video games. Your experience playing a video game right now is thanks to Valve, and them holding everyone else accountable. All these other shitty launchers, like Uplay or Uconnect or whatever Ubisoft's doing, whatever the EA one is, the Epic Games launcher even, like all these other launchers, pale in comparison to Valve's Steam, because it's amazing and they don't have to try and do tomfoolery tricks to try and waste your time and waste your money and make it difficult for you to, you know, get refunds to make a quick buck off someone who bought something on accident or something like this. They don't have to do any of that because they're private, but also because deep down it seems like they're actually just good people. I don't know how else to put it. They have so much power over millions and millions of gamers, maybe hundreds of millions of gamers, and they could make so much more money if they just, you know, did a little sly thing here or there, but they don't. And all these other companies, the EA and the Blizzard Activision and the Ubisoft, all these assholes are probably so pissed off because now they have to be upheld to that standard. They have to actually put in the work and the effort to have a good service that's not going to scam the crap out of people and shovel loads of microtransactions and cheap-ass games and shitty bullshit and whatever down people's throats. They actually have to release a service that's good. And to some extent, I think these companies should be thanking Valve, because one of the reasons why Valve does this is because if torrenting a game illegally is more convenient and better than working with one of these shitty launchers and paying full price for a game, people are just going to steal. Valve made it possible for PC gaming to really exist. If anyone remembers the late 2000s, early 2010s, most games weren't really made for PC, and they were made for console and then kind of ported over to PC, and they were shitty, and they didn't have a lot of features to like change graphics or like your VSync and your this and your that and whatever. A lot of that was not really, that wasn't prioritized by game developers. And they were kind of right, because most PC gamers, only not most, but a lot of them, were just stealing their games. And, I mean, I don't steal games, but I get it. And so, Valve made a service that was like, no, if you buy the game properly through our service, you get access to cloud saves, you get access, like, all the developers get access to online play for their game for, I think it's a fee, but it's a flat fee at the beginning of launching your game. And that's it. Steam takes care of all the server, whatever, game finding stuff. I don't know, I don't do that work. But you get it. All these different features. So I would rather buy a game and support the developers, but also it's partially because my version of the game, buying it through Steam, is actually good and functional and has all these backups and other services attached to it that I don't get if I steal the game. I'm sure if you put in the work, you could steal a game off the internet and then put it on another launchers. There's a bunch of other like third-party launchers that are basically just launchers, or you could put on like a GOG launcher, and then that comes with some of the features, but it's not, but it's a lot of work and it's not as good as Steam. I just think it's super interesting because, as sad as we are to see the state of Valve not making great games anymore, at least not as often, they are the pillar that is keeping video games where it's at. For a long time I thought it was Nintendo, because they actually do make great games still without like relying on DLC or microtransactions. And I think that's still generally the case, but it's probably a little worse now than it used to be. The Switch 2 is definitely concerning with the way that it's just so expensive, and you're getting, honestly, not really any more than you used to with even just the Switch, or heck man, even the Wii U. The Wii U actually was pretty great. It was underpowered, yeah, And the online multiplayer, everything online was bad. But it wasn't, they were good games. And it worked, and you bought it, and you owned it, and yeah, unless you bought it on the eShop, in which case you did kind of screw yourself over. But for most people at the time, I think we were all still mostly buying actual physical hardware. Like, I have all my discs for all my games on my Wii U. Except for one. I do have Wind Waker HD. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Don't burn me. I have Wind Waker HD on my... and like a digital copy on my Wii U. So I'll just never uninstall it. But yeah, thank heavens for Valve though, because I'm thinking about all the AI content, or if you even want to call it that, slop nonsense, and how many developers are sneaking in AI to their games. And I don't mean in a good way, because there's two different routes to go about that, right? There's, oh, you could have a dynamically thinking character in your game who can kind of grow along your unique experience in the video game, which is like the coolest thing ever. Like, video games need to be doing that now. Like that I've seen it in mods for Skyrim, and what they're capable of, it's incredible. The fact that, like, I don't know, like the next Cyberpunk or next Skyrim or whatever needs to have that. I think it's going to be the most banger feature to have in a video game that they need to hurry up and do, because I want to be around for it. I mean, I'm not that old. It better come up before I die. But you get the idea. But then there's the other side of AI, which is people using AI art to promote their games. They're using AI to make 3D models for their games. They are... Oh, no. Okay, good. They're using it to write scripts. They're using AI for this, that, and the other thing. And I'm pretty torn, because I've done video editing and I've done video creation, and I understand AI is an amazing tool to streamline the process, and it can be simply that, a tool. It doesn't have to do any actual creating. You know, like, you could have your scripts or whatever handwritten. You can have your everything shot, you know, on an actual camera, held by an actual person. But who's to say that you don't need your footage organized faster? You know, AI can help with that. Who's to say you don't need to go through your script faster and, like, organize that stuff faster? AI can help with that. Like, there's so many things that AI can do. And unfortunately, it does mean it's going to be taking jobs. I mean, it already is. And I just hope, though, that we don't go too close, you know, we don't fly too close to the sun and burn ourselves, because what happens when there's less jobs in certain fields? I mean, that's obviously a problem. But also, what happens when there's more productivity with fewer humans involved? That's not inherently a bad thing. That's we're getting into a capitalism versus socialism discussion at this point. I'll save that maybe for a different video. But I'm just happy to see that Valve is actually taking a stand in what AI is doing to video games. Because there's been a lot of companies who have tried to sneak in AI for whatever reason to cut corners, and it is worse. Like, right now, AI is not where it... Oh, I went the wrong way. No. Wait, did I go all the way to that one first? Is that what I just did? I did, didn't I? I didn't have to do that. I usually go to this one first, on this side. Hello, Mr. Boulder. That's a nice boulder. I like that boulder. Ba-da-ba-da. I'm not really sure I have much more to add to this, other than be thankful everybody for Valve. Even though they're a giant corporation, and generally speaking that's bad, Valve is a private company without stockholders, so they're and they are doing the right thing, I think, pretty much always. There's, I'm sure, a few examples here and there that I could think of, but off the top of my head right now, I'm not really sure they've really wronged me or anyone. I don't think. So here, let's run across this lava room, and then I'll call it a day on the video, because firewall! And then I gotta walk, and then I gotta stop and dodge the skull, and then I gotta run a little more, and then I can keep running. I'll take this hard. Cool. Alright, everybody, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next episode. Maybe, kind of, probably not. But if you do watch me again, thanks for joining me, and maybe subscribe or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Bye!